Whoa.
Good morning, Ramon. How are you?
Hi, Mindy and friend.
This one is Whitney, but she got a haircut, so she looks totally different. And she has her Chiefs jersey on now
Oh, geez.
because it's cold. It's like freezing here today. What the heck?
Well, that means football weather. And
Right.
that's where we're going to be headed today. A lot of football to talk about, a lot of fun, a lot of excitement. Of course, we don't want to slight Major League Baseball, maybe the headliner, to it with all due respect, because it's the postseason, and we saw some interesting games yesterday out of the four games, and they're going to come right back today. We're going to preview those four games as well. We're going to cover the rest of the college football card from where we left off, and there's also one hockey game to talk about. So yesterday, Mindy, it got off to an interesting start in Major League Baseball with Cleveland. Everybody really liking them right now and looking good. And well, Seattle got the job done with Castillo, my Padres, with the big
What?
win. They scored
Padres,
home
yeah.
runs. And
That was awesome.
finally, the Cardinals blowing up there a little bit. Anything in baseball?
They were wild. I was, pretty excited for the Mariners and the Padres. I kind of like those, two teams for the underdogs and our potential World Series matchup via crushed diamonds.
Oh,
So,
that's right.
yeah. So, I was really surprised at how those bats came alive for the Padres, but I was happy for them. I'm rooting for them.
Yeah, all of a sudden they're the sharp side, I guess. But we'll talk about today what's going to happen there. But also in college football last night, well, how about the Huskers? They went in and a low-scoring game. I think we pinned it. I think we called it. We
We
knew
did
it'd
call
be,
it.
not the most aesthetically pleasing game.
Oh, that game was horrible. It was like watching, that was worse than watching Broncos. Oh,
No,
it was.
worse.
It was just so sloppy and back and forth and nothing happening. But I think Rutgers, though, proved that they do have a good, defense. And I think it also proved that Nebraska has a whole lot of work to do yet. I think they were lucky to get away with any sort of victory there in that one. So, yeah, Ramon, I was kind of surprised there with Mr. Ramon taking the money line and not the points in that one.
What was I thinking, right? I mean, I had the handicap right. I just thought they'd
You
lose the
had it
game.
right. I know.
Sure enough, 14 to 3. Take your points. I always would. How often am I coming in on a money line? And I tried to come in with Rutgers, and Nebraska ends up getting the win. Maybe I got a little too cute, I think, with that one. But we definitely called it as far as being an ugly game, and
Oh, it
I
was
had a
bad.
premium winner. I had a premium winner in that Houston Tulane game. I went over in that one, but that one turned a little goofy.
Yeah, because we, had Memphis as our free pick, and what did they score? Like
Yeah,
20
you know what I
points,
mean.
and they scored like 20 points, and I don't know what 7 minutes or something. It was pretty wild there. It was like what, pick six, long touchdown, and then another drive. So it was kind of unfortunate, but yes, good job on getting the over total on that
In
game.
Colorado State, certainly a sharp side. It looked like there, if you consider how the line movement went and the way they dominated. And then again in the late game, San Jose State, maybe the biggest moneymaker in the country right now. Let's all jump on the bandwagon. Well, don't miss with San Jose State, man. They're just crushing it right now. And if you see their line move from like 3 to 7, you might want to take them because they're going to blow somebody out. They almost lost their program a little less than 10 years ago, and now look at them making everybody all this money on Friday night. So we got to get right into it, Mindy. But let's go first over to our website, tonyspicks.com, and check out our premium picks. It's Saturday, and we are loaded up right now. There is no need. Watch our show. We're going to give you a bunch of free picks, but take a look. There's our team, Mindy. I know we're loaded up in plays today.
That's right.
I can't wait to see what you have in store for me because that's what's got me all fired up to come in here today and do the show. I can't wait to see because I don't know what you've got. And you do the picking, and all I got to do is guess right. That's the way I look at it right now with the morning steam team. And I'm sure we're going to end up with another, I don't know, maybe a half dozen plays.
Right.
Look at so many today, but look at all of our premium picks coming up and a bunch of 3-packs today, especially in college.
Look at that. There we are.
Yeah, right on top. Hey, boom. There it is. I mean, I don't go any further. Morning Steam team got a bunch of 3-packs. Tiffany's locked and loaded as well. Sam, Daniel Walachuk, he comes off a big day. He went undefeated.
He did.
On Friday. Mindy, what do you got today?
Yeah, so I mean, again, I talk about that I'm a volume player. Ramon's kind of the same way. So I got 21 picks today between college football and baseball. So you can definitely find something that you like here. I do have them sectioned off based by, time, that sort of thing. So if you want to come and get, an 11 a.m. kickoff pass, you can do that. And then say, hey, I'm doing well with Mindy. I'm going to catch your packs at 6 o'clock for the 6:30 game, something like that. Then you can come back and get another 3-pack there as well. Or instead of doing all that, why don't you just, catch a little bit longer term, do like a 3-day pack. So you get all of the games for today and then Sunday and Monday. And we already have a NFL early morning pack out there too for the morning steam as well, Ramon.
Can't wait to watch that game. We'll be on the air tomorrow. We've already previewed it. Mindy, I don't know if you heard this stat about the NFL game. They've played like 38 games now over their regular season games across the pond over these years. I mean, I don't know how long I've been doing it. It seems like almost 20 years now. This is the first time this Sunday that 2 winning teams are going to be in action.
No way.
Against one another. That's how bad that they've been sending
the bad teams over, huh?
The first time 2 winning teams will be sent over there on Sunday. So that's crazy. But hey, here's a great thing. Look at the pick ticker. All the picks are locked and loaded. So, I mean, look at how many picks we have in the system. This is every one of them right here. And look, I've got plays in there. Every capper's got plays in there. This is the pick ticker just showing you every game that we have today. You can buy them each at $25 or go into the packages, but just to show you the work that the team is doing to have everyone be able to get picks if they want. They get plenty of free picks right here on Tony's YouTube channel and right here on the Morning Steam. But if you want to buy picks, there you go. We got so many picks
right
for today. So I've also got picks loaded. Mindy, I have 4 3-packs, one for each kind of time segment in the day today, starting with the early games and leading into the nightcap. So there's Daniel here in the top spot right now. Morning Steam team right there, number 2, Mindy number 4. I'm in here somewhere. We looked at your premium packages, so let me take a peek here at mine for everyone. And there you see, I've got also, look, the 3-pack right there, MLB Wildcard Primetime Premium Pass. So also I have a best bet today in the NHL. Prague coming off a win
yesterday with Nashville.
Friday. Yeah, we laid the puck line with Nashville, so pick that one up. Profit guaranteed. My best bet NHL today. All right. Use the promo code TonyT at checkout. Save 20% off all premium pick packages. We could talk about it all day. We could talk about how everyone did. We got to get going.
That's right.
Let's start with college football. We get the free picks, rapid fire rundown here. And we'll start first with game number, if you will, but just, where we left off from our previous. These will be games that are starting at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 Pacific, and this will be Appalachian State and Texas State. Appalachian State 18.5, 55.5.
Yeah, I mean, App State, they're coming off that big victory against the Citadel, 49-0. Texas State lost to James Madison 13-40. App State, again, they're playing, pretty good ball here. 41st in scoring offense, 37 points per game. While on the other hand, Texas State having a little bit of trouble, only 21.8 points per game. It's one of those two, the Appalachian State, they put up just a ton of yards. They're outgaining them by about over 100 yards here on offense. I think App State's looking to just kind of overpower this Texas State team. I'm going to take App State here minus the 18.5.
I don't mind that. Seems like a pretty sharp handicapper side as well, but I'm probably going to look to go under in this one. Appalachian State 1-6 to the under against teams that are under 500 when playing at home, and we have a weak Texas State offense against that good Appalachian State defense. So also Appalachian State 2-10 to the under off blowout wins of 20 points or more. So I'm going to go under. We're not clicking just yet.
But it was only one play.
Right. Yep. No, I know. I'm so, with our record, I'm just so anxious. And don't force it. Don't push it. If we got a different play, we got a different play. But yeah, I think, look, Appalachian State, that's a pretty big number. That's all that worries me a little bit. I mean, you got to win by 3 touchdowns. They probably should, but I don't know. All right. James Madison going to be a double-digit road favorite here against Arkansas State. Boy, I mean, these teams are both pretty darn good, but Madison's really good. Arkansas State's pretty good, too. It's just that I think more people are enamored with Madison right now.
Yeah, I mean, James Madison, it's because they're ranked 12th in scoring. They're putting up a lot of points here, 44.8. And it's one of those that Arkansas State, they're only 65th in points scored at 34.6 per game. JMU, they kind of have this really nice balanced attack. They average about 245 yards, a game. Most of that is rushing, about 216. But James Madison, I think they're going to use this balanced attack to probably outdo Arkansas State, but I'm still going to look to the under here in this one. The under is 4-0 in the last 4 home games, 8-1 in the last 9 conference games. There really isn't a whole lot of head-to-head matchups here, but I just kind of like where the trends are going. That total is a little bit high, especially if I think James Madison might do most of the work here in this one. Going under.
Yeah. It's real sharp, too, because that's where the move has gone, is totally down lower. The sharps are all over the under, I think, in this one. You have 2 teams that are 9-0 against the spread combined. Now, you mentioned the discrepancy in the point scoring, but both teams do rank in the top, I want to say 15 or so in number of plays. They run very fast. Both teams run very, very fast pace teams. So I think getting the points will be key. I think double digits are fine for me. I'm going to go with Arkansas State in this one. I know what you're saying with Madison. Look, that's how I introduced the game. Madison team that everybody is enamored with right now, but just considering I'm getting double digits and Arkansas State plays the same type of tempo. Look, I'm not discouraging what you're saying.
Pace of play is a huge deal in college football, so I know what you're talking about.
The total there, I mean, like I said, I mean, I get it. Probably would have been, a stronger play for you if it didn't lose so much value by the Saturday morning here. So, okay, so Mindy is going to go on the under, and I've got Arkansas State. I think they're good for a cover so far. Like I said, both teams, they're perfect against the spread. So I think that does show that Arkansas State does have a little bit. And good morning, everyone in the chat. Thank you for joining us. Appreciate having you here on Saturday. We just got started, so get your pen ready. We're still rolling through college football today here on the Morning Steam. All right, Air Force. Air Force is going to take on Utah State. Air Force, another double-digit road favorite. They're favored by 10.5, total 54.5.
Yeah, I find this one to be very intriguing because, Utah State, they have a really nice, coaching staff, even though they haven't really, shown it here, thus far. I think they're tougher than what they appear. But Air Force, they're scoring 32.8 points per game. And then that rush attack is number 2 here in the nation, averaging 370 yards per game. On defense, I think both of these teams rank, pretty well. It's just one of those that I just think this game is going to be closer than it looks. I think I see Air Force and I think about them running the ball and throwing the ball. But instead, I'm going to go ahead and take a look at the under total in this one. I think Utah State is just going to be a little bit stronger on defense today. probably cause a lot of change of possessions. The under's 4-0 in October for Air Force as well. And the under is 5-1 for the Aggies in their last 6 also. I'm going to take a look at the under total in this one, under 54.5.
Well, I'm starting to get a smile on my face. And here's the thing, Mindy, the thing about agreeing with you on this is, the morning steam team, we're definitely clicking when we get the right. And here it is, something where I'm not ready to make a premium because I've missed out on the best line. I think even, when we say missing out, a lot of times you're almost always going to miss out on the best line if you're late to the party. But sometimes it's a little more significant than others as far as the number of points. Still, we're still clicking on those, even though it's happened to us, or I've noted it saying we're not getting the best of the line.
Right.
So maybe it doesn't matter. Utah State, they're off that good performance, of course, against BYU, getting double digits. I think Utah State is pretty attractive here, but I think under is the play for me in this one. Look, I wish it was 57.5 or something like that, but
Sure.
Mindy sold me on it. I was ready to make a call either way, side or total, because I kind of like both, but neither was a premium. I'm sitting here waiting to see, and the fact that Mindy said she wanted to go under, I'm going to go under. Let's do it. Under.
All right. Consensus play.
Consensus play, Air Force and Utah State. Southern Mississippi's at Troy. Troy's a 6.5-point favorite, and the total's 44. That's dropped a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, Southern Miss, they lost 6 of their last 8 road games. And Troy, they've won all of theirs this year at home. They're 4-1 against the spread. Troy is in the last 5 games overall. That passing offense is ranked 17th in the nation. I expect Troy here to just kind of just throw the ball up and down the field here on these guys. I'm looking at Troy to cover -6.5.
Yeah, I think Troy could have a pretty decent day with the offense, but I think I'll tend to go over in this game. I think it's a pretty good number there at 44. See Bryce Young officially doubtful, just coming across here on an urgent message from Don Best. So,
Oh, okay.
I think we knew that, but I'll just continue on with the Troy handicap. I agree with you. I think Troy can put up some offense here. I think we've got a reasonable number. Don't sell Southern Mississippi short in this one. I think both teams are pretty decent clubs. I think the offenses could be better on both sides, and this total would indicate at 44.
I mean, you've been pretty high on Southern Miss the last couple weeks. So I know where you're coming from in this place.
Yeah, and I just have it a little bit too close, but Troy does have that good passing game against that pretty bad Southern Miss pass defense. So I think that's what kind of kept me away from actually pulling the trigger on Southern Miss. But either way, I think Troy does get their points. I'm going to go over. Mindy's going to take Troy. Connecticut is taking on Florida International, and Connecticut's on the road here, a 5-point favorite. The total 46.5.
Oh, I'm trying to find my my games here. I don't know if I have. Oh, here they are. Yeah, so it's one of those that both of these teams are coming off upset wins. Connecticut beating Fresno State 19-14. FIU beating a New Mexico State 21-7. But yet each of these teams kind of struggle to score, for the most part, averaging 15.2 there for Connecticut and 17.8 for FIU. Connecticut also, they just struggle, gaining yards in general. It makes them 255th in the nation. I think this game, I don't know if it's going to be decided by a last minute field goal, but that's kind of maybe, the way it feels here. I'm going to take FIU and the points. Again, I'm a little bit higher on FIU. I did actually bet them this year to go over the total of 3 wins this season. So I think they're going to be able to do it. And this might be one of their wins here today. At least I'm rooting for them.
Well, I was hoping you might, consider what you were talking about, maybe with the total. But yeah, for me, look, I like FIU. I just wish they were getting just a little bit more points in this one, so I'm going to end up going the direction of the total, and I think it's just gone a little bit too low, actually.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, not that we were going to agree or disagree,
Right.
but I'm just saying, because then I was going to come back and maybe take the side. But anyway, I will go over in this one. Look, I had it closer to 50 here. Maybe not just enough for a premium necessarily, but I will take the over here in this one. And Mindy is on FIU. More injury information coming in. Malik Cunningham. I think everybody thought that he might be out of the game for Louisville today, and that is indeed going to be the case. Cunningham out with those concussion syndromes. One other quarterback note that just came across, Oregon State quarterback Nolan with that neck injury. He will be out versus Stanford tonight. So late information coming in. Get your day
The morning
started
steam
here
information.
with us
That's
on
what
the
we're all
morning
about.
team. Yep, we'll
That's
see
right.
if anything else comes in. UTEP is at Louisiana Tech, and Louisiana Tech in this one is favored by 2.5, total 52.5.
Yeah, I think UTEP here has the better defense out of these two teams, as they only give up, 26 points a game compared to 38 there for Tech. Louisiana Tech team, they, because of that, rank 255th in the NCAA in total defense. UTEP, I think they're going to be able just to kind of take advantage, more running the ball. They averaged 5.7 points or rushes per game here. And then UTEP, I don't know, they're 5-2 against the spread in their last 7 meetings with La Tech. I'm going to take UTEP getting the points here.
Yeah, they do seem to have a pretty good series against them. I'm going to look to go under in this one. UTEP 1-5 to the under in their last 6 games. I think UTEP will have the better defense to limit Louisiana Tech. I think there's been, the move has been to Louisiana Tech. I think the earliest lines actually had like UTEP a 1-point favorite. So that kind of worried me when it came to the side. I'm just going to end up taking the under here at 52.5. And Mindy's got UTEP plus 2.5. All right, going out west here with Wyoming, a 3.5-point favorite at New Mexico.
Yeah, so neither of these teams are, particularly good on offense. And I think it shows that by that total there sitting at 37.5. I mean, neither team gains more than 300 yards of total offense per game. New Mexico's defense, yet they only give up 3.7 yards per carry. So, it's like not so bad all at the same time. Wyoming here, they're 0-5 against the spread in their last 5 meetings here in October. They're also 2-7 in the last 9 with New Mexico. I'm going to take the points here and New Mexico for the win, plus 3.5.
All right, Mindy on New Mexico, and I'm going to give out the total in this one. Look, for me, I just think this one ends up, I get it, right? I mean,
You're like, I get it.
you're right. It should be a pretty ugly game, low scoring game, but Wyoming 6-0 to the over off a straight up loss. So I think that's the way I'm kind of leaning towards this one. Look, I think New Mexico is very live in this game, and it could be just one of those closer, tight knit games that needs a little bit. Maybe it's
All you need is your
overtime.
guy to go and have a kickoff return for a touchdown, and there's that over total right away.
And look, what's it going to be? It's 17-17, and if Wyoming or whoever wins the game and gets to 37, you're looking at 20-17. You're right there already. So it's not going to be a pretty game by all indications if you look at these numbers. But I will take the over. I mean, that's just, I know, it looks bad, but I'm just going to take the over as a free play here. All right, Clemson, they're a big favorite again. Will they finally find somebody they can cover a big number against here when they take on Boston College? The statistics might indicate them to do so, but they just can't seem to do it. 20.5 point favorite, 48.5.
Yeah, I mean, I think the answer is going to be yes, I'm going to take Clemson here in a blowout. They're significantly better than Boston College in every statistical, category. Wins, points scored, points against. I mean, all of that. Average 41 points a game compared to Boston College, 22. They also outgained them by 150 yards as well. I'm going to take this 16th ranked third down efficiency team and run with them. Go Clemson.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's put it on the consensus playlist because I have it at 23. Look, I don't really go back and analyze our picks too much. If anything, our losses have kind of come in the football games, anyways. In this role, laying the big points on the road, so that worries me. But my number's 23. My strength rating on this game has Clemson covering this one with ease. So I've got to think it probably. I don't know. They could win it by 4 touchdowns, I would think, in this one. I mean, Boston College, they can't run. They're not going to be able to run the ball at all against Clemson, and Clemson should be able to roll. They've put up big numbers, so they've been inconsistent, but against Boston College, they should put up bigger numbers. That's really what I should say about Clemson's offense right now. So let's put them down as a consensus play. We're in there with our second consensus play. Clemson laying that big number.
Sounds good.
In the SEC, South Carolina at Kentucky. Kentucky -6, 45.5. That one, this number has dropped pretty significantly. And even Kentucky was a little bit bigger of a favorite for sure.
Yeah, I don't know if it has to just do with this passing game, what they think that these defenses are going to do. I mean, Kentucky's offense, they're pretty, lights out. And then their defense is ranked 23rd, only giving up 14 points a game here. Spencer Rattler, I mean, he's been doing okay this season, with 4 touchdowns, but he does have the 7 INTs here. Kentucky, they're 6-1 against the spread, their last 8. South Carolina, though, they're 0-4, in their last 4 road games also. So if I take a look at this one, even though the line's a little, been a little wonky, I'm still going to go with Kentucky here at the -6.
Absolutely. We're laying 6 points here. Kentucky's got the better quarter. They've got the pro quarterback. Spencer Rattler's not going anywhere in his career after this prediction. Will Nevis, he's going straight to the NFL. So
yeah,
let's take Kentucky here and lay 6 points. I think they could win this one by double digits, Mindy, against South Carolina. South Carolina's going to score. Watch out. That total, might be in jeopardy, but I like Kentucky. Back-to-back consensus plays right there.
We're doing it
for us. Yeah. Yeah. Seems like a good deal. 6 points, considering it was a little bit more recently. All right, Army at Wake Forest. Speaking of offense, this total is pretty big. Wake Forest, 16.5-point favorite. Total 65.5.
Yeah, Wake Forest, they're coming off that nice win over Florida State, 31-21, while Army lost to Georgia State by 17, where they were actually favored by 9 points, something like that. Army just has this one-dimensional offense, and I thought that they were just going to be, better this season, but I don't know. They give up too many yards per game here. I like Wake Forest's defense to kind of hold them. They're only allowing 135 rushing yards here per game. I think Wake Forest here, they're going to be able to shut down Army. I'm going to take them to win by more than 17 here in this one.
I gotta agree with you. Wake Forest they're 4-1 against the number this year, and Army 1-5 on the road against the spread. Their last 6 dating back to last year. So I think for me, I'm going to look for Wake Forest here to cover this. I've got it at 20, so probably should have been maybe even a premium for me, but I just was kind of weary about laying big numbers in a game that I don't know if it's going to be 65.5. That's pretty big total. I mean, I know that Wake passing all over the yard, but you're still going up against Service Academy running game. the contrast. So, but gosh, let's do another premium play and lay the points here.
All right, we got it.
First.
Consensus play.
Get all of our consensus plays here by watching the show. And if you ever miss it, you can go on over to Tony'sPicks.com where we, just pass along a small fee to access those, especially when time is running out. It's Saturday early and the games are starting soon, and you got to go to YouTube and use the slider bar to find the pick. You just pay the small fee and get our premium selections from the Morning Steam crew here at Tony's Picks. Kansas State at Iowa State. Mindy, let's go right into the heart of the Big 12, and you should have a good handle on this game with Iowa State. A 1-point dog against K-State now, total 45.
Yeah, this might definitely get, TV1 today. The Iowa State Cyclones, they've won their last 7 of 9 home games and have that 21st ranked defense. And also only have, 14.4 points allowed per game. I think Iowa State here, they're going to be able to force Adrian to throw a little bit more because that's the key, right? You got to be able to have Adrian throw so he throws some INTs because otherwise he's just going to run all over against you. Cyclones here, they're 19-6-1 against the spread their last 26 games in October. I like Iowa State here at home in a close one.
Yeah, it was just, K-State just a slight favorite, barely, it's almost a pick 'em. They're certainly having a pretty good start, especially their 4-1 spread record so far. The one thing for me, Iowa State, they seem to go under at home versus good teams that travel well. In other words, we get a good team coming in. It's a decent matchup. Usually a tight, lower scoring game. I think that's reflected in the number here. Obviously, at 45, we're expecting a modestly low scoring game, and I think that's where we're headed. So I'm going to take the under in this one, and Mindy's got Iowa State. Appreciate everybody joining us in the comments, and just reaction here to Blake, Tennessee and LSU game. And Mindy, I think that's one that we did already cover, if I'm not mistaken, back on
Tuesday.
I want to say Tuesday.
Yep.
But again, what you can do is you can just go into YouTube, type in Morning Steam, Tennessee, LSU,
and then just put the date or the date. Yeah, whichever. Yeah. Correct. Yeah, disregard the date because that will give the whole show. So like Ramon said, say that again.
And Tony's video might come up there too, maybe somebody else, some other channel. But if you put the Morning Steam, it's going to be right up there. So appreciate you, Blake, for stepping in and asking. All right, let's come out west now with Washington State and USC at the Coliseum, and USC here 12.5-point favorite. Total 65.
Yeah, so we know that USC's the running back position is one of the best in the country. He's already accounted for 518 yards from scrimmage, 5 touchdowns, 6.8 yards per carry. And then you have Williams averaging 280 yards of passing there too, 12 touchdowns, 1 INT, who is facing this Washington State defense that gives up just a ton of yards, 446 in their last game. This is just going to be too much offense for a Washington State team here, if you ask me. I'm going to take USC.
Okay. I'd say right now, from what I can see, Mindy, that has to be one of the more popular plays out there from the talking heads that I've seen. For me, the total's just gone too high. Look, I know it's going to be close. I'll sweat it out. I'm going to go under.
Sweating with Ramon.
Yeah. Well, I've got it at 61 in my low window and 67 at my high window. So, if anything, I got a 4-point gap to that. So maybe get a little bit insight into my mindset and how I think. If I don't have a true strong opinion, just using my power range, as I like to call it. So at 65, I'm gonna end up going under in this one. All right, another one. This one probably will make one of the televisions in your setup. Maybe not TV1, but I know it'll be on TV 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 because this is Iowa and Illinois. And
That's
Illinois
right.
is a 4-point favorite, and the total. This is another reason why it's not going to make the main screen. The total's 36.5.
Yeah, Illinois, they're coming off that 34-10 win at Wisconsin. While Iowa, they lost to Michigan 27-14. Illinois has actually the second best scoring defense in the country and dominant here against the run. I think they're going to try to force Iowa to pass the ball. They're ranked 242nd, in passing. I don't know why Iowa doesn't run the ball more personally. I think Ferentz is suspect with his play calling most of the time. That would be the son Ferentz, by the way. But Illinois, they average nearly 200 yards a game on the ground. I think that they should be able to, stick with this Iowa team. But I'm going to take a look at this a little bit differently. I think I'm going to look at some of these trends on what's happened in the past once the Big Ten gets into October here. I'm going to take the over in this one, Ramon. The over is 5-1 or 5-1 in the last 6 conference games. It's also over 4-1 to the last 5 meetings between these two teams. They seem to just play each other tough, and because of that, there's a lot of scoring in this game. I'm going to go ahead and take the over total, over 36.
Yeah, I get it. We're gonna actually have our first conflict game of the day. Look, I gotta almost default to you. I mean, these are your teams. This is in your neck of the woods. But I look at this one for me. Illinois 1-9 to the under their last 10 against teams above 500. That kind of was a stat that kind of I'm not basing it all on that, but I think you talked about all the defense. I get it. I mean, this is another low score where maybe it should just find a way to get over, but I don't know. For me, it feels more like 17-10 or something crazy like that. So, oh well, we've got a reverse consensus.
Reverse consensus play.
We disagree on Big Ten games, so maybe lean with Mindy because she just happens to be in the heart of Big Ten country. Big Ten country. All right, this game is being played in Las Vegas. I don't know how Mormons and Catholics they go to Las
They
Vegas.
get along usually. They get along usually, yeah.
Yeah, they go to Vegas more than you think. Notre Dame's a 4-point favorite. The total 51.
Yeah, Notre Dame, they're giving up just 21.5 points a game here at home. While BYU on the road, they haven't been very good. I mean, they're allowing their opponents to 31. Notre Dame 21-10 against the spread, their last 31. I know that's kind of a big range of seasons or whatever there. But they're also coming off the bye week, so they've been able to prepare. They're all rested up. BYU 1-5 against the spread in their last 6 following a straight up win. I think Notre Dame, they're going to go ahead and get on a roll here, win their 3rd straight. I like for them to cover the points here. I'll take Notre Dame -4 at home.
All right. I think this one could get a little crazy. So I'm thinking BYU 4-1 to the over right so far this year. So I think for me, I think I expect scoring. I think BYU's got the more polished quarterback. I think they got a better quarterbacking situation. Notre Dame's running the ball a lot better. BYU does seem to have deficiencies in stopping the run as part of their probably the weakest part of their game. So Notre Dame's had to find a running game. So I'm going to end up going over the 51 in this one in the BYU Notre Dame game in Las Vegas.
Should be a fun one then.
It should be a fun, interesting game in the Big Al Stadium. So. Florida State, North Carolina State, going out to ACC. And North Carolina State, a 3.5-point favorite, total 50.5.
Yeah, I mean, both teams here coming off losses. Florida State to Wake Forest, NC State losing to Clemson. I think Florida State, they're just a little bit better offensively, but then you have this NC State team that just, I think, have the better defense. They're only giving up 15 points a game here. NC State, they're also 12-4 against the spread their last 16 home games, 7-0 in their last 7 games following a loss. I like NC State here at home at the -3.
I got to agree with you. Mindy. And the reason why this is just for some reason, this is just a disaster series for Florida State, right? I mean, all time. Now, look, the way the season is going, I think Florida State should be able to compete in this game and possibly get the money. But I think NC State's favored for a reason. And you just look at this all time series, it's just bad, bad, bad for Florida State all time. I mean, or at least for the last 10 or 12 years. It's been a disaster every time against NC State, and not so great when they've hosted NC State either. So let's do a consensus play. Let's lay 3.5 with NC State.
Consensus play.
Coastal Carolina, 13-point favorite on the road against Monroe.
Yeah, I mean, I think Coastal Carolina, they're clearly the better team in this game. They score 36 points a game, only giving up 27. Monroe scores 20, giving up 36. Coastal's 34th in the NCAA in yardage per game at 464. I think they're just gonna keep this streak alive, the unbeaten streaks here to dominate Monroe. I'm gonna take Coastal here in this one.
They really should take care of business. They really should. I gotta agree with you again on this one. The move has totally been to ULM, and from my market reading that worries me. But my grading has Coastal as a 17-point favorite here. I mean, I gotta go with Coastal.
Right.
Look, I mean, I get it. I mean, Monroe, 4-0 against the spread off a straight-up loss. But it's still Coastal, man. It's still Coastal. And I think that, we got it under 2 touchdowns now. So I think the value, if what I think about value, but,
right.
We could have been laying, here's a case where we could have been laying 15 and we're only laying 13. And I will say this as well. If anybody's going to tail us on this free play right here, this consensus play, just wait a little bit. Wait on this one. I think you might be getting 12.5 by kickoff or less, but more likely 12.5. I'd say it might move a half a point more. So mark us down, Mindy. I think that gives us a couple.
Right. We got it.
A couple of 3-packs already.
That's right.
Oh boy, we already talked about this one a little bit, and I better check on this line too, because I mean, I think that it was clear that Young was not going to play, but now that it's official, let's see, because the one thing that interests me in this game, Mindy, is that the news was already apparent that it looked like Young wasn't going to play, and the total has dropped significantly, but Alabama's spread has not dropped the same proportion as the total. You would think if the total moved down from as high as, I know the way look ahead lines were as high as 56.5, but I think for the most part it opened about 52 this week, and you're still down 4 points from there. But Alabama only opened as high as maybe 25 or 26. It has not moved, even though the quarterback switch for Alabama to a quarterback really that had not much going for him. I mean, as far as an Alabama quarterback is concerned.
Right with the Tiger also, and I think that really in offense on the end for right now.
All right, we'll get Mindy back. I knew she was breaking up there. She's back quickly, I think. Here, we'll see. If not, I'll cover a little bit of the game as she loads up here trying to get in. But look, for me, what I was saying was like Alabama, you would think if the total dropped from 52 down to 48, that maybe Alabama would be now down to maybe a 21-point favorite, because really they're going to end up having to run the football a lot as well. I think it's going to be kind of a grinded out game, especially, this is not going to be, I would think, your typical Alabama, blowout, especially considering all the storylines with these guys, with these coaches and whatever. Yes, if Alabama got a chance to put the put the boot on the throat, they would, but you would think they need Bryce Young in order to do that. So I'm not sure at this point, given the parameters of the game and the fact that Alabama is such a significant favorite, that they can get this big number. Now, it could be ugly for A&M as well. They might have trouble scoring in the game. It may end up being, just a low-scoring game that Alabama might get close to the spread because it ends up being, you know, 28-7, 31-7, something right in there, and it ends up, going under and ends up being very, very close to the spread. But for me, I don't think Alabama is going to be able to get a big number today, given the situation and having to go with the backup quarterback that really probably going to be doing a lot of handing off, a lot of running the football today. We already said Alabama, maybe not the team that they're back at number one. We get that, but without Young today, I'm going to have to go on Texas A&M. We'll see if we can get Mindy back, get her a play on it. But I'll just keep plugging along. Here she comes, possibly. We'll see. All right. All right, Oregon is going to take on Arizona as we continue to go out west. And we have Oregon on the road, a 13.5-point favorite, and the total is 70.5. Oregon, the spread's definitely gone up quite a bit on this one. Looks like Oregon's a pretty public player, but don't sell Arizona short. They've really got their running game in gear right now. I think they've looked pretty strong of late. Maybe a big surprise. When Oregon goes on the road to Arizona, it doesn't always work out their way. Now, look, Bo Nix has looked really sharp. Look at this total. It's gone way up here to 70 from as low as 66.5. That does seem kind of crazy. I mean, to me, Bo Nix looks like a pitcher with home and road splits to a certain extent. So I would think that Nix will not have as solid of a game as when he's at home, and I'm going to probably look for this game to go under. I think this total has gone up pretty darn high. I think the 66 was a more realistic number. Look, I get it. I mean, these two should put up some big numbers today, but I'm going to end up going under this number at 70.5. All right, I see Minnie trying to get back in, but we just got to keep moving with so many games. We'll go back and just get her plays, certainly, if we can't not finish the show with her, and try to stall as long as we can so we can get her back on and get her opinions on some of these games, like Fresno State at Boise State, as we head out to the Mountain West. And in this one, Boise State currently a 7.5-point favorite, and the total 45.5. Look, for these two rivals right now, I don't know if the offenses are going to be all that in this one. I think the number to me looks about right. I didn't really have too much of an opinion one way or the other. My window was 6.5 to 9, so it's going to fall right in there certainly. But for me, look, I like this game maybe as a premium if the total was where it was at some of the openers, maybe as high as 48.5, but down to 45.5. I still think it's going to be a low scoring game in this one. I've got it, closer to about 42.5, 43. So I'm going to have to go under as my free pick here in Fresno and Boise in this one. All right, just two more games, and we'll maybe take a little bit of a break and check out the website, see if we can't get Mindy back with us for the end of the show. But tells us in the chat she's just having a little bit of technical difficulty, so I'm trying to hold it together for us, and I'll end up talking here about Hawaii at San Diego State. Now, San Diego State shouldn't be a 23.5 point. How can they be 23.5 point favorites when they can't even score 23.5 points? That's what I would say about this one. Now, I know Hawaii is bad, and this spread has gone up a good 4 points in the last 24 to. Last I looked, I get busy on Fridays, but when I saw the line had moved from 19 and a half up to 23 and a half. I just don't see it right now with San Diego State. They've had some moments. They've kind of gotten their running game together just a little bit, but for me, I'm not sure they can, get that kind of number. This one should not be. The total's already dropped. You see there 48, open 49 and a half. I'm going to have to take Hawaii in this one plus 23 and a half against San Diego State. I can't see San Diego State putting up anything. All right, I've got Mindy Hahn, the Midwest Premier Sports Handicapper, back with us. And I don't want to keep you too long, Mindy, because it's Saturday. I've covered 3 or 4 games so far. So I don't know if you have any. I should just ask if maybe you could throw a tidbit, but I'll tell you what I had in the game because what we need to know really, the premise of this show. We never thought we would be here, but the premise of the show now is: do we have a consensus pick? This is our new reality, right? I mean, this is that's the great thing about doing something like this, being involved with Tony in the project. You never know where it's going to lead, what the goals were, and but the fact that we've ended up doing this little show, then they say, hey, put your plays on there. The plays are doing well. They're selling a little bit. So let's go back. And I think we were just about to talk about, if I'm not mistaken, Texas A&M because we talked about
that's right.
NC State. We talked about NC State.
Yeah, because I think I got cut off right when I was talking about Alabama. So I was going to take Alabama minus 23.
Okay, and I'm on A&M. So we also. Did you want to? Yeah. Did you want to expound?
Well, we could just. You probably gave a pretty good rundown, and so we're not. I just did it based off of
just the fact it's such a big game, Mindy. I'll just ask you because certainly without Young, my concern was the fact that I think Alabama ends up going to just a complete run game. I said I don't put it out of the question that Alabama can get the cover and win the game somewhere, 31-7, 34-7, because A&M might have big time trouble themselves against Alabama. I mean, there's the grudge between the two coaches and blah blah blah. But Alabama with Bryce Young, what I was going to do. I asked your opinion. The totals dropped at least 4 points, if not more, but the spread hasn't dropped much at all.
Yeah, and so in that aspect, I would look towards the. I was looking towards the over on that total, but my pick still would be the Alabama at minus 23. And that is because, I still have A&M that's without their quarterback, best wide receiver. Then I have, Bryce Young that's still out, but still, plays well. I look to Alabama, also based off of, past trends and such here as well. So that's kind of the reason why I was, looking to them. A&M, they're 1-5 against the spread the last 6. Alabama 7-1 to cover in October. I know we have players out, but that's kind of where I was headed.
Well, and again, we didn't break the news necessarily. I think everybody knew that Bryce Young was very questionable, and there's been no line movement really since we officially told the news of his status being out. Still 24-48. So so we have a disagreement there. And then I came in on Oregon and Arizona, and I said that the number just gotten too out of control for me, Mindy. While I think that Bo Nix certainly can have a nice performance and he's playing well, I think he's a much better quarterback. I say at home. We know he's a transfer, but he looks like a guy who's good at home and not so good on the road. And I said, Arizona, don't sleep on them because their offense has really turned it up a notch right now, and they're probably an unheralded group offensively. But I ended up going under because the number just got too high for me in this one. Even though I think it'll certainly reach well into the 60s.
Yeah, I mean, I think Oregon's probably going to be able to score, 40 plus points, but that's where I was going as well. The under is 9-3 in the Ducks' last 12 road games. The under 6-1 in the last 7 road games, and then the under for Arizona is 7-1 in their last 8. So I was looking at the under in this one as well.
Okay, so consensus play.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. See how it works, everybody. We don't plan these out. It just happens. So again, I mean, that's a scary game to me for a certain extent. But the fact that I got Mindy backing me up, she's bringing the heat every day here on the morning steam with these breakdowns. Well, that makes me feel a lot better about it. And again, that's one where we're getting the best of the number, and that's what I like. The other one I talked about, Mindy, I ended up taking the under in Fresno and Boise. I was wishy-washy when I was given my handicap on it, but my numbers just have it down near 42.5 or 43 in my bottom window. But I do have it, as high as 48.5. But to me, when you get conference opponents like this that are definitely underachieving right now, I felt under was the proper call. And I didn't like the fact that I'm getting the worst of the number here, but I like the under pretty strong.
Yeah, so I'm going to be bummed, Ramon, because I was looking at taking the over. Each of these teams are still putting up, quite a few points. I like where Boise State's going, quarterback wise as well. I just look at Fresno State overall. I know that they haven't been playing well, but I think they're better than what's expected. I think Boise might get the better of them here today. But Fresno State, they are 0-5 against, the spread. But I think they're going to be able to take advantage of that second string quarterback, maybe for Fresno State. I think they're going to put up a lot of points. I think they're probably going to pile it on. That's kind of why I was looking at the over, Ramon. Sorry.
Yeah. No problem there. I mean, and on the side, my range was maybe 6.5 to 9. It fell right in the middle, so I really didn't have really much of a feel for that. So that's why I went on the total. Okay, San Diego State playing Hawaii. I made a joke. I said San Diego State shouldn't be favored by 23.5 when they can't even score 23.5. Hawaii, I know they're bad, but San Diego State, they're still, ground-oriented team as far as I'm concerned. Burmeister doesn't, he's a game manager, if you will. I like the kid. I've always liked him, but the spread has gone up 4 points in the last, and San Diego State does not have a quality offense. In fact, the funny thing about it is, as far as them having a very strong defense as far as Mountain West defenses are concerned, this defense is not matching up statistically with prior incarnations of San Diego State defenses over the last several years, but that shouldn't matter against Hawaii.
Well, I kind of go back and forth with this one too, because I have most of the stats are going to be on San Diego State's side, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they're 7-3 in their last 10 games in October. And Hawaii is only 3-8 against the spread in their last 11 road games here as well. I mean, San Diego State, it's one of those that they should have no problem, scoring in this one. But I think Hawaii is going to be good enough to win, and not win, but to keep this one close. I actually had Hawaii, so I actually like them at the plus 23.5. So I'm going to go Hawaii in this one.
Oh boy. We got a full card of action here in the morning steam. We're taking Hawaii. Taking the range.
That's what I said. I'm like, I liked him at 21, so I like him a little bit better at 23.5.
I'd like it better if Timmy Chang was playing quarterback rather than coaching. Okay. Oregon State is going to be at Stanford. We're caught up now. Oregon State, Oregon State's down to a 5-point favorite, so the move's definitely on Stanford here. They were about a 7-point favorite, and this total continues to drop like an elevator down to 56.5. It was as high. I think this week's opener was closer to 58.5, but the early release lines was at 63.5. So it's definitely gone down, down, down. Easy to see why, the way these two teams are going offensively.
I mean, Stanford is not this team of old. I mean, they give up a ton of points a game on defense. They rank 222nd, and just really not that team that I'm used to seeing. Both of these teams are also coming off the big losses. Oregon State lost 16-42 to Utah, and then, Stanford losing to Oregon here. Oregon State, they still outgained Utah, even though they lost to them. So I kind of like where, Oregon State's, heading, where they're going. I'm going to take them at the -5. I like them at -6.5 too. So I'd take them minus a touchdown. So I'm not too worried about, the quarterback situation and such in this one.
Okay. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm going to go over on this total. I think it has dropped too much. So even though I just talked about how maybe these teams, the total's moving because of some of the inept offensive play, I think now I'm going to go over 56.5 as a free play. Probably my least confident of this whole show.
Right.
Let's save the worst for last. How's that on this one? But I'll be checking that game out for sure. I kind of wanted the side with Stanford, but when you went on Oregon State and I had already wanted the over, and I'm like, well, I'm not even getting 7 points anymore. Mindy's laying the better number. I'm not going to sit here and go opposite and take the worst of it against Midwest's premier sports handicapper, Mindy Hahn.
Right.
All right. That's it for football on Saturday. Enjoy the games, everybody. And we're going to also dig in here to Major League Baseball. But if you're off, and stick with us. We got a few more games we're going to look at. But thanks for joining us all week for all the football picks that we have. You can go back, like I said, on our previous shows and get picks for every game, just like you can with Tony. Just type in Tony's picks, morning's team, the teams you want to hear about, and you'll get all of our picks. Or you can go on over to tonyspicks.com and check out the morning's team and get all those premium plays, including the ones that we're going to have to load up here, Mindy, because we just had a bunch of plays. But that's good. That's
right.
a good thing.
It is a good thing. Should we recap them real quick?
Last I checked. We'll see after today. All right, let's keep it going because we got we're 1 hour in and we're almost home free. But we got to talk about those baseball games after what happened yesterday. With the games, we scraped the surface a little bit at the top of the show, but now Cleveland's going to come back, and boy, they just look good at home, don't they? They really, if anything, man, they've got the crowd support. Look, all the crowds are great, but there's some little bit of magic right now because not only they have great crowds, but they win at home. Cleveland with these guys that are pitching right now. It seems like all their pitchers win at home. So what does that mean? McKenzie here, he's a $1.15 against Glasnow. On the comeback trail, a little bit interesting selection here of Glasnow in the rotation for this game too. Uh-oh.
Got off the skid, right? They were on that 8-game losing streak. What's that?
You're good.
Is my mic bad?
Oh, you're good.
Okay.
You're
okay. I know I've been struggling. I have to find some tech support in order for my updates to stop running at 8 a.m. in the morning. So I think that's most of my problems here. But yeah, the Guardians, still kind of trending, a little bit downward here also. Glasnow has that 1.35 ERA, McKenzie 2.19. I think we talked about it a little bit with Tony. It's that third straight 2-1, game. I have this one modeled out at 5.28 runs. So I'm going to go under the total of 6 here still today.
Well, we can't always agree on a premium play. I'm going to go over in this one. I have my concerns. I know Glasnow probably, he's going to have a short leash. He's pitched very good. He hasn't pitched very many innings on his starts because of his comeback status. So it's kind of interesting just the way they're going to use. I don't know how they're going to, I don't think you'd push a guy like this. He's only pitched averaging maybe 3 1/3 innings so far since come back. I think he went 4. So in this big game, going McKenzie, it's big game for McKenzie. Big game for him. Biggest game probably of his career. And he's been pretty darn solid down the stretch. Real solid down the stretch. Seems like he's getting stronger right now. So it's good to see him because he's going to be a star in this league. He's got the ability and the charisma. So I'm going to go under. I'm going to go over. I'm going over as Cleveland gets to glass now, and Mindy's going under. So we got a disagreement in baseball.
It happens.
All right, Seattle and Robbie Ray going up against Toronto and Gausman. Gausman, $1.55 here, total 7.5. And man, the Mariners jumped all over Toronto in the first inning yesterday.
Yeah, it was kind of surprising, as well as Manoah's been, pitching. But Robbie Ray, he's sitting here. He's lost his last 5 starts for whatever reason, not getting very much in run support. And then runs are just a premium here in, these playoffs so far. But then you have Gausman. He's, 4-1, 4.57 ERA here at home. Both pitchers tend to kind of give up the long ball here every once in a while. But yet I still think I don't know. I still think that worries me a little bit here based off of my modeling, right? So my modeling is kind of opposite of what these trends are going. So both of these pitchers, it looks like, they're probably not predicted to do so hot today, but yet my modeling comes out with a total of 6.22, which puts me under the total. So I'm still going to stick with the under 7 runs here in this one, even though some of these pitchers may struggle. So hopefully they can keep the long ball in their back pocket and have a lot more ground ball outs here in this one. Looking for the under.
All right, 2 games and 2 disagreements on totals. I'm going to end up going over in this one. I think Gausman could be the one in trouble today. I'm really impressed with what Seattle's doing right now. I know they got a convincing shutout victory yesterday. One thing that impresses me about Seattle, Mindy, not necessarily related to this pick, is the fact that they are so strong at winning close ball games. I mean, they have like that championship attitude. They might just be lacking a little bit in the complete talent department as far as in comparison to the other teams is concerned. But when it comes to winning like 1-run games, man, Seattle gets it done. That has to account for something, especially now that they lead their series 1-0 against Toronto. So we'll see what happens today. But well, we're disagreeing here. There ain't no consensus going on. All right, Mindy. Well, I was out standing on the sidelines of a high school football game with my phone open, watching the Padres hit these home runs. I was really enjoying it before the start of my football game that I was at. Watching the Padres hit the home runs made me feel really good last night. That they were able to get to Max. What can I say? If there was one bugaboo about Max, it's giving up the long ball. He'll have a great performance. It didn't go well. He should have never got booed. He's 37 years old. Maybe his best days are behind him. But, if Max could go, 7 innings and strike out 12, but he still might give up 2 home runs and be down 2-1.
Yeah, I mean, Snell, he's sitting at his 2.53 ERA. I mean, he's just been able to handle, business this year. And like we talked about, I love you, Darvish. I think he's just totally on fire this year. Really excited about, whenever he gets a pitching start, I'd love to watch him. I love to see what's going on. He's got me a tons of, first 5 wins this season as well. And then DeGrom, he's been pretty, hot himself, this 1.28 ERA here versus this Padres team. But, to me, this is going to be like, I think this is a series of momentum, and the Padres just have that. I mean, they are so hot, and you have this Mets team here that is, I think, doubting everything about them. I mean, giving up a 10.5, game lead in the series and such. I'm still going to think I'm going to go with the Padres going to sweep this series here. I'm taking the Padres plus 155.
Well, I agree. You don't see me taking the Padres very much here on the Tony's Picks YouTube channel. I haven't done that very much. I just kind of stay away from touting on or against my home team, because sometimes your judgment can be a little bit affected, because I like the team so much that I really dig into, more so into that team than I do into other teams when I'm following, throughout the organization and the minor leagues and things like that. So I don't like to get totally skewed, but it's not so much what you said, Mindy. It is a lot of what you said about the series and the momentum, but for me also the fact that Jacob deGrom and this whole controversy with him going to pitch Game 3. Now they're rushing. I say rushing because he has a blister. I mean, he has a blister. I mean, it's going to affect him, and he is probably not going to be able to go for very long in this game. And the Mets will be into the bullpen. They get a good bullpen, but they were gonna, if they won the game, there's no doubt. You could see it's plain to see that he was not going to pitch Game 2 if they would have won Game 1, and that's a lot of times, not going to. Buck Showalter is a professional manager, and I'm just some guy on a YouTube screen box here. But you can't manage that way. I don't think that's what they tell me when I watch the shows that tell me how to manage baseball teams. So you can't manage like that. But not by choice for Showalter as well, because of that blister. It's a factor. It's a factor going into this game. We got the Padres on a consensus play to sweep the 3-game series, win the 2 games, and get out of there. Oh, I showed the right stat, didn't I?
Yeah, there we go. We got it.
Okay, I just clicked the wrong button there for a minute. Okay. So yeah, we're on the Padres consensus play. We'll have at least one today out of these 4 games. Philadelphia and St. Louis, Nola and Mikolas. Nola is the slight favorite now. I'm going to check that, make sure he still is, because this one's been very close. Nola minus $1.15, 6.5 over 20.
Yeah, Nola, he was pretty good. Well, I think he's been pretty good here as of late, but he's not been pretty good here versus the Cardinals. He gave up 5 runs in 7 innings in his last outing. He's also a guy that, has really no playoff experience also. And I always think that makes a big difference when you're coming into these big games here also. And I know we've been kind of talking about, Mikolas and where he's been this season, kind of up and down with his 2.32 ERA here in September, though. He's only given up, 2 earned in his last 2 outings. And versus the Phillies, he's only given up 2 runs in 12 innings. And he, of course, does have some postseason experience. The Cardinals, I think it was a weird, fluky thing to give up, 6-7 runs there in the 9th inning, putting up 10 batters to the plate. That's just really so not like them, especially when the Cardinals have that 4th-ranked bullpen. I'm going to go back to the Cardinals here today. I'm going to take them on the money line, plus 100.
All right. And I'm going to agree with you. Let's go with a 2-pack, shall we? And go with the Cardinals. Yeah, I mean, look, they couldn't stop it at one point. I mean, it just was tough to watch.
It was.
Not for Phillies fans. It was.
Well, especially, though, when you're sitting there with the under in that game with, sitting at 3 and then watching it just disappear.
Yeah. And again, I've upped the line. It looks like the move's actually on Philadelphia. I moved it from 115 to 120 while you were talking. Now I'm actually starting to see some 125s out there. So I'm not so sure. But look, both starters, you're right. I mean, both starters have been, solid of late. It's just that Nola has been hit by these Cardinals a little bit. So, and the Cardinals, though, definitely have the better bullpen. That, like you said, I mean, I'm not calling it a fluke. They got hit. Phillies did the job, but just comparing the 2 bullpens, I think St. Louis has, right now, the hotter bullpen right when you need it, but wasn't the case yesterday. So, all right, that's a look at the Major League Baseball card. I'm going to add one more game here, and it's going to be in the National Hockey League today. This one goes off at 2 Eastern, 11 Pacific. It's the second game from Prague. I gave you, of course, winner yesterday with a premium
Good job.
play with Nashville on the puck line. I'm going to come back with Nashville on the puck line today as well, but it's going to be my free pick this time. It was a premium yesterday because I felt really strong about it. Today, not so strong because you're on a back-to-back. But I think Nashville right now looks like I think they'll be a pretty decent team this year. And the Sharks, maybe they're going with just a few too many veterans. They haven't really gotten in. Yes, they have some good young talent, but maybe their roster's a little bit veteran heavy right now. And now when you're on the back-to-back games, I think the legs get heavier on the defense. And I would like Nashville probably in a little bit higher scoring game. Yesterday ended up being, I think it was 4-1. Maybe it was 5-1 by the time it was over, right? 5-1, they got them. But today it could end up being a little, maybe even something, 5-2, 4-2, 6-2, 5, something like that. Maybe like I said, the defense will be affected more by this situation. The situation being playing back to back, far away from home, if you will. Yeah, they've been there for a little while, but you're still playing, very far away from where the teams are based. So that's what I'm going to look at. I'm going to give out Nashville. I don't know if you looked at the game, Mindy, at all in this game or anything else on the card today you want to talk about before we get out of here.
No, I think that's it so far. Again, I like a lot of these, 6:30 Central games. I'm pretty interested, so it's going to be fun.
Well, enjoy the games today. There's also a big card of NBA preseason. Big card today. Didn't have too much time to get into it. Also, there's more NHL preseason. 2 games in the CFL tonight. BC and Toronto. Toronto, a 1-point favorite, total 48.5. Winnipeg, a 12.5-point favorite at home against Edmonton. Plenty of soccer action as well. Going off. A lot of that's going off right now, as a matter of fact. So you can go check out our soccer expert, Paul Ioretos. He'll have some information probably from Friday's show for the weekend. All right, Mindy, we're going to get out of here. Good show. Let's get to watch football. We're just a couple hours away, and the baseball games, and we'll catch you back here tomorrow with more morning steam. We got NFL and more. We'll see how much Major League Baseball. Any prediction? How many games? I don't know. Did we kind of say how many series would be over?
I think 3. That's what I think. Maybe the first 3 out, I think. We'll see. The only one I'm maybe unsure of is Seattle.
All right, head on over to Tony.
That one might go 3, maybe. We'll see. We'll see how it works. We'll go, I don't know. We'll see.
At Tony'sPicks.com, use the promo code TonyT at checkout, saves you 20% off all premium pick packages. You can use that promo code every single time. And don't forget, if you missed our picks here on the Morning Steam, you can subscribe to our picks. And look at how we've done over the last 7 days, up over $619 making these plays. Like I said, these are based on $100 plays. That's the way our system works. I know there's a lot of people, 619 units. But we're just, what we do is we make picks here. We don't put 5 units on one play and 1 unit on another. We're just giving you our picks, our best picks right here at Tony'sPicks.com. The free picks, they are what they are. They're not premium picks. As they are but they turn into premium picks when Mindy and I agree. So head on over and pick up our morning steam packages for Saturday. And I would think you might have a pretty good day considering how well we've done over the last few weeks we've been doing it. So hopefully it keeps up. Thanks, Mindy. Good job.
All right. Thank you. Have a good weekend. Well, I guess I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good Saturday.
All right. For Mindy Hahn, I'm Ramon Scott. Thank you for joining us.